I'm Ashton Addison from BlockWest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Kay Khemani, the Managing Director at Hatchworks, who is working on Spectre.ai. Kay, welcome to the show, and thanks so much for taking the time to come on.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to dive into Spectreai's platform. This is really unique in the cryptocurrency space. But before we begin, I would love if you could give a little bit of background on yourself in finance and blockchain and how that led to joining Spectre.ai.
Sure. So my background is basically in equity research, and I was there for around 6 years in the sector. I worked at JP Morgan and then Goldman Sachs in a relatively senior capacity. And after that, I kind of left and started my own entrepreneurship journey back in 2012, the tail end of 2011. And around 2014, 2015, we got into financial technologies. Predominantly, we were into financial education and automatic trading algorithms. And we spotted a problem in the retail trading markets. And that was predominantly the fact that when you're trading centralized, generally speaking, as a retail trader, you need to send your money to a broker. And 80% of the time, there won't be any problem, right? If you're trading with Interactive Brokers or Saxo Bank, these are some of the big regulated shops. Nothing really goes wrong there generally. But when you go towards the brokers that offer CFDs, highly leveraged products, binary options, things like this, the quote unquote shit starts to hit the fan. And so we noticed this problem really accelerating in 2015, 2016, and 2017 with a lot of incidents where clients were winning and they were just not getting their money back, or the price feeds were broken, or they were manipulated, or account managers would trade on the behalf of the client without their permission. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And then eventually in 2016 or 2017, there was an event in Canada, and I won't get too much into the specifics, but basically a retail trader who had saved up around $250,000 for his kids' education and for his pension and what have you. Some brokers stole his money basically over a period of 6 months. He ended up shooting himself in the head, and the FBI got involved, and it was this huge incident, and that kind of woke us up, and we said, you know what, blockchain technology is allowing blockchain technology is allowing through smart contracts the ability to disintermediate any centralized human being, in this case with brokerages. So what we did is we created a smart contract, and through this, the DALP, the decentralized autonomous liquidity pool concept, was born. And this would allow a retail trader to use Ethereum to trade against a market maker, but directly through a smart contract. So if they win the trade, they get the money. If they lose, the money goes minus whatever commission to the technology provider, to the market maker. And obviously Uniswap did this fantastically. Now that we see, it's become the go-to place for decentralized trading of tokens. But so we basically, that's what we created, a way for people to trade very short-term duration smart contracts, using smart contracts to trade smart options. And we effectively took 3 or 4 years to scale the product to where it is today. Now, we are very different in what we do in the blockchain. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit now, but basically you have Binance to trade tokens, Kraken, Coinbase. These are the ones where you can buy, you can hold long-term. You can also trade in some of these exchanges, futures and perpetual futures with a lot of leverage. We are all about low risk trading. However, we still allow you to earn very high returns, just not the crazy returns that like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700%, and that comes with excessive leverage. So all of our contracts are completely zero leverage. You cannot lose more than the amount you commit to any trade. But where we really specialize is duration, right? So where Spectre really specializes is in the sort of the short end of the curve in terms of traders wanting to generate, let's say, 70% or 90% or 100% ROI within just 5 seconds or 10 seconds or 20 seconds or 1 minute. right? So you can basically, on our system, you can say, I believe Bitcoin is going to go up in the next 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I want to take a $100 trade. And if Bitcoin is even just 0.5% higher or even a basis point higher, I want to get paid a certain percent. And based on market volatility, based on liquidity at that time, the system will create a market for this specific trade. And generally speaking, on average, traders are earning anywhere from 70 to 100%. With some certain upgrades, it can go as high as 400%. But the most important thing is that it's zero leverage. And so it's all about short-term, high-return trading, but with a medium risk profile. So we just don't touch the leverage side of things. Right now, we have around 400 assets that are being deployed as we speak. On the system, there already are around 80 to 100. And you can basically trade around, I would say, 30 to 40 top cryptos, around 20 to 30 top global stocks, and then a range of exotic products like reverse futures. And also we have added recently a version of CFDs, which is in demo mode.
Great, Kay. Yeah, a lot of information there to unpack. Obviously, starting out with that, 80% of the time it works. That's a pretty big gap for 20% of the time where there's issues. And obviously, blockchain is a great solution to disintermediate those brokers out of there. I really like that you are differentiating the strategy with the short term, on these major exchanges like Binance and Coinbase. Yeah, you can buy futures on Bitcoin. You can do scalping, but it's not really designed for 5-second trades. And that's something that I think a lot of people that got into cryptocurrency and trading, but not are in the stock market and traditional equities, probably are not familiar with that. And so it's interesting to see that Spectre you have Bitcoin, but you also have these other traditional market products, and you're combining those in there. Can you talk about Can you talk about that? Like, is this designed for crypto traders? Is this designed for equities, or is it designed for anybody that's looking for this kind of strategy?
That's a really good question, Ashton. It's designed for the latter. So we want to introduce this to the crypto industry because people have their fantastic options with Kraken, Coinbase, Uniswap. They can kind of play their 10x's there with the pre-sales and all the exciting tokens that are always launching and all that. That's not what we provide. So with us, no trader ever actually owns the underlying asset. And you're right, we have a diverse array of assets. What we want to do is tell the crypto community that, look, you have all these options that you've been using for all these years. Check out Spectre if you're interested in generating a high return in a very short period without leverage, right? So it's a very focused offering, and you're totally right. It's not necessarily just Bitcoin, right? I mean, we offer 40 cryptos, and that should rise to around 400 by the end of next year. But ultimately, anything that goes up or down, anything that you can research in the market fundamentally or technical analysis-wise, could be currencies, traditional euro, US dollar, but it can also be, of course, volatility-based products. And it can, of course, be your traditional cryptos, equities. And I think soon we're going to be adding some more exotic things like orange juice futures and durian futures. So the bottom line is we will be flooding the system with assets, and we create markets for traders to basically come in and generate a very good risk-adjusted return, but in a very short period without leverage.
Definitely. No, it's very exciting. And with, it sounds like such a differentiation in the market. I really have not heard of a product like this that includes cryptocurrencies. And I'm not familiar with, a lot of the traditional equity platforms where people are trading, but it sounds really exciting. And obviously to have the DALP and the decentralized platform, that's going to be the key factor in having all those problems solved, where nobody's going to take your funds. You're the one who has access and you have control of the funds.
That's a really important point. So a retail broker lives and dies by their online reputation these days, right? And if you look at Spectre's Trustpilot scores or their Forex Army scores, or generally speaking online, of course you will find the odd disgruntled trader This is normal. 75% of traders lose money when they trade a derivative, a contract for difference. So we of course are always looking at what traders are saying about our platform, responding to customer feedback. But it is very important to know that when it comes to fraud, when it comes to the fiduciary responsibility that Spectre has towards its traders, that's where it really stands apart. If you go to the online reviews, you will see Spectre generally has a superior reputation relative to competitors, and we really like that part of the product and the offering. And this is built over 4 years now, 3.5, 4 years. So if there was any fraud, it would eventually have been weeded out by retail traders, because these days they have so many options, right? Robinhood, Interactive Brokers, Saxo, Kraken, Binance. I mean, you can trade in so many places in the world today. So in order for us to stand out, we offer a very unique product to crypto. That's the first thing, and we do it, of course, in a way which is fraud-free. And when I say we, I mean, it's probably worth noting that, although I am a representative, the Spectre team is based in Asia, and a lot of the growth has come in there, and also we're seeing that coming for Spectre in Asia from the crypto side of things.
Definitely, yeah. The markets are crazy over there, and speaking of the blockchain part, I wanted to also touch on the token system, because I was reading into the fact that there's a two token system, and I'm curious on if there's other functionalities within the platform. Is that required for trading fees or staking or LP, and how does that function throughout Spectre?
So basically with SXUT, which is a utility token that Spectre offers, you can use it to upgrade, whether you're trading decentralized or centralized on Spectre.ai. However, what we've seen is the vast majority of traders, they deposit in fiat currencies, or they use crypto to convert to a fiat currency and then trade there. And then they will just upgrade on Traders Bay, which is sort of the marketplace where you can buy upgrades, and most use fiat. However, what Spectre.ai does is they use the fiat that's generated to pay for these upgrades by traders, and then they market by SXUT and they burn the tokens. So this has been a multi-year burn that has been happening. So it is driven by utility in some respect. And then, of course, for people that understand crypto, that understand how to use a DEX, they can buy SXUT and upgrade. The other token that you made reference to is SXDT, which is the Spectre Rewards token. That's just a passive income yielding token that has been around now since May 2018. That's when the first dividend or reward was paid. They have, the Spectre team has paid around, I believe it was 2.8, somewhere in the range of 2.8 to 3.2 million dollars back, and that's fiat cash. That's not tokens paid in tokens. It's actual. That's the amount of dividend that has been paid back to the SXDT token holders. And then there we have a few thousand token holders who are just kind of, hodling and seeing how the story plays out over the years, where we update them. And that token is basically nourished, if you want to put it, with rewards based on how Spectre.ai does as a platform. So when it grows, the token rewards grow. When the investments in the firm do well, then part of that goes to token holders as well.
That makes total sense. And that's a great amount that has already been contributed back. So that's great to hear for those token holders right now. Yeah.
And it's around 17%, I think, roughly speaking, 15 to 17% returned, 3.5, 4 years in the journey. Obviously, if you take into account the Ethereum price has gone up as well. So the actual amount returned is going to be higher. The payment has been, I think, weekly, and then we moved to a monthly model last year. But assuming no price changes in Ethereum, that is the amount.
Yeah, it's great, Kay. And you mentioned that there's a lot of more products that are coming out on Spectre, and I'm curious if you can give any hints into whether it's new products or just overall, what are the major milestones that your team's looking to deliver by the end of this year and into 2022?
Yeah, great question. So for us, it's all about getting more assets onto the platform so we can identify with different types of retail traders around the world who are used to trading a specific type of asset. So we want to offer that as well. The second important bit for us is, of course, listening to the vast amount of customer feedback, that Spectre.ai has been getting over the years. It's important to note that our platform is still in its infancy relative to other brokers. This means that from a technical standpoint, Spectre still has areas to fill, and that means much faster charts, much quicker entries, and trading much more seamlessly in general. If you look at, for example, TradingView, which is used by so many traders around the world, it's such a well put together trading platform, right? And it's just a fantastic information nexus, and also you can speak to other traders, and there is so much happening. So that team has really done things really, really well. And so our charts, we are working on really upgrading them to make them very seamless, very quick when they load. These things really matter for retail traders. So in answer to your question, that's the rollout that we are looking for, those two things: more assets and a better trading platform. Beyond that, I would say I know the team is working in Indonesia on adding more and more payment service integrators and providers, specifically on the digital asset side. And on the legal side, the legals are always working on getting more and more regulated licenses through.
Definitely. Well, that is something that I value a lot as well. I think the trading charts and the user experience are going to be super important to getting that to the next level. So I'm excited to see that happen and come out on Spectre, and more products, and more derivatives are always great as well. For the viewers that are looking to, start utilizing Spectre and follow along with all of the updates that your team's working on, what's the best way for them to learn more?
Sure, Ashton. So the best way is just go to www.spectre.ai. It's probably worth noting that Spectre is not open to around 15 countries. So the US citizens is one of them. We don't offer services to US citizens. But if you are in a jurisdiction where Spectre offers services, then you would just go and you would create a demo account. I would not advise trading with real money. If you're not a trader, if you've never traded, I would actually advise using the demo account for a few months, get in touch with the team, learn a little bit about what the product is, because it's very exciting. And then when you're ready, you dip your toes, and eventually you end up on the deep end. So that's the way we do it. We never advise to just deposit money and blow your account. Go slow, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Sounds great, Kay. Thanks so much for taking the time to come on to talk about Spectre.ai. All the best with these updates moving forward, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thanks, Ashton. See you soon.